This video covers turning on inventory features and setting inventory preferences. It also describes inventory accounts. Not all businesses track inventory, but if you want to, QuickBooks can help you manage it. If you keep things on hand to sell to customers, you'll want to track inventory. To follow along, open the file called landworks_inventory, or you can just watch the video. Inventory represents the items sitting on your backroom shelves or on your retail shelves, waiting to be sold. You track them by creating inventory items, and that's covered in an upcoming video. QuickBooks Pro uses the average cost method to figure out the value of your inventory. It takes the total cost of each item you have in stock and divides the total cost by the number of items. It does this for each inventory item you keep in stock and then totals all the results to get the value of your inventory. And the value of your inventory is important because it's considered an asset and can affect the worth of your business. Behind the scenes, QuickBooks is busy recalculating the average cost each time you buy more of an inventory item. It adds the new cost total for the new items to the previous cost of the older items and divides the total by the number of old and new items. You can set a couple of preferences for inventory tracking, including turning on the inventory feature and setting reminders. So let's go to the Edit menu and go to Preferences. If QuickBooks has not turned on the inventory feature for you, based on your answers when you set up your company file, you could do so now. So go to Items in Inventory and Company Preferences, and these are the inventory options. If you want to track inventory, make sure there's a check mark in this first item's checkbox. The second option, when you turn on inventory, you also turn on purchase orders, although you don't have to use them. This next option, if there's a check mark in the checkbox, lets you know whether a purchase order number already exists in your company file, and this helps avoid confusion later. If you don't use purchase orders, you can remove the check mark. And the final option warns you when you enter an item on a sales form and you don't have enough on hand to fulfill the order. You can go ahead and save the sales form, but QuickBooks Pro doesn't handle back orders. You'll have to upgrade to get back order tracking. All QuickBooks does is warn you that you don't have enough quantity on hand. It doesn't automatically create a new purchase order. You have to enter the purchase order manually to order more from the vendor. And these two links here are to learn more about additional inventory features you may want, but you'll have to upgrade to a different version of QuickBooks. Let's go on to reminders. There's one reminder preference that might be useful to you. So click Reminders. QuickBooks can remind you when it's time to order an item. For the Inventory to Reorder option, you can click Show Summary, and this will just say Inventory to Reorder on your reminders list. You could click Show List, and your reminders list will display all the items you need to reorder. Or you could select Don't Remind Me if you want to rely on your memory. So I like the list, so that's what I will select, and click OK. You'll need a few accounts to track inventory, and QuickBooks creates a couple of them for you in your chart of accounts. And one of those is the Inventory Asset account. And this tracks the current value of your inventory. Another account QuickBooks creates is the Cost of Goods Sold account. And this account tracks how much you paid for your inventory items and subsequently sold. First, I'll describe what the Cost of Goods Sold account does for you. While an item sits on the shelf in your store or backroom, QuickBooks tracks its value in the Inventory Asset account. When you sell the item, QuickBooks takes the value out of the Inventory Asset account and puts it into the Cost of Goods Sold account. QuickBooks multiplies the quantity you sold by the average cost of the item and tracks that value in the Cost of Goods Sold account. And QuickBooks needs to track this cost so it can determine your profit on the items you sell. To calculate your gross profit before expenses, QuickBooks subtracts the costs of the items you've sold from your total income. And you can see this on a profit and loss report. One account you'll want to create is an Inventory Adjustment account. And the video on making inventory adjustments goes over how to create that account. And one more thing, just so you know, you can create sub-accounts of the Cost of Goods Sold account to track different types of inventory. Say you own a retail cooking store. You sell food items, equipment, and cookbooks. You could create a sub-account for each category of items, and this will help give you more detail and could help you determine what is most profitable for you. So that's all you need to do to set up inventory.